Why do so many new businesses fail before they ever find a real customer? Usually it's not because the founders are lazy or untalented. It's because they spend months building something nobody actually wanted in the first place. They confuse being busy with making progress. That's the central idea the lean startup keeps coming back to. And if you want the full argument, the link to grab the book is in the description. Maybe some of these sound familiar. You're not sure whether anyone genuinely wants your product. Your metrics look impressive, but you don't know if they mean anything. You've spent months building features customers never asked for, or you're constantly wondering whether to keep going or completely change direction. Those aren't separate problems. They're connected. If any of those sound familiar, stick around and subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this. Here's where the first domino falls. You build a product because you're convinced it's a great idea, but does anyone else actually want it? Ries argues in Chapter 4 that every feature should be treated as an assumption waiting to be tested, not as a fact. Without customer validation, you're really just guessing at scale, and months of development can disappear the moment real users tell you they don't care. A good example is Vanity. It invested heavily in infrastructure before proving enough customers wanted the service, and that mistake became incredibly expensive. Once you've accepted that, another question appears. If building more isn't the answer, what is? That's where the idea of the minimum viable product comes in. Most founders believe launching the complete vision feels safer. Ries makes the opposite argument in Chapter 3. An MVP isn't a cheap version of your dream. It's an experiment designed to help you learn as quickly as possible. Every extra month polishing features without customer feedback delays the only opinion that really matters. Dropbox famously tested demand with a simple demonstration before building everything people expected. The lesson wasn't build less, it was learn sooner. But even smart experiments can lead you astray if you're measuring the wrong things. That's exactly where Chapter 7 shifts the conversation. A dashboard full of growing signups or downloads feels encouraging, but those numbers can climb while the business itself stands still. Ries calls these vanity metrics because they make poor decisions look successful. Instead, he introduces a way of thinking about measurements that actually reveal cause and effect, so decisions are based on evidence rather than optimism. If you've ever celebrated numbers that later turned out to mean nothing, drop that experience in the comments. It's one of the most common traps founders fall into. Once the numbers become trustworthy, an even harder decision appears. Should you keep going, or is it time to change direction? Chapter 8 argues that refusing to pivot isn't always persistence. It can become denial. A pivot doesn't mean abandoning your vision. It means changing the strategy because the evidence says the market is asking for something different. Every pivot should come from learning, not from panic or ego. There's one more piece we'll come back to because even the right pivot won't save a business if it grows the wrong way. That's the final link in the chain. Chapter 9 explains that not every company should chase the same growth strategy. Some businesses grow because customers stay, others because customers spread the word, and others because paid acquisition works. Ries argues that focusing on the one growth engine that actually matches your business model matters far more than chasing every new growth hack. He also explains why working in smaller batches helps expose problems while they're still cheap to fix, instead of discovering them after you've scaled. Build the wrong product, trust the wrong metrics, wait too long to pivot, and scale using the wrong growth engine, and each mistake compounds into the next. That's the chain we've explored here. The Lean Startup examines every one of those problems in real depth and completely changes how you think about building a business. If you want the full argument, the link to grab the book is in the description.